I'm Rosemary Miller. And with the student loan pause set to end later this summer, you may be wondering if you should treat your student loan debt in the same way that you treat your other debt, like credit cards or car loans. Well, today I have Robert Farrington, a senior contributor here at Forbes, to tell us 6 reasons why you should treat your student loan debt differently. Thank you so much for joining me, Robert.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about this.
Yes, Robert. So you have 6 reasons why someone should treat their student loan debt differently from, say, credit card debt. Starting with reason 1, credit card debt should likely be your first priority. Why is that?
Honestly, credit cards carry high interest rates, significantly higher than student loan debt. And that debt is going to continue to balloon if you don't pay it or just pay the minimum payment. So when you're looking at all your debts, and you mentioned a few of them in the intro, student loans, credit cards, car loans, those credit cards to me are one of the most toxic debt objects that you have. And the faster that you can get rid of those, the smarter it will be and the better off financially you will be as a result.
But with credit card debt, it's one of those things where it just kind of keeps coming back at you. Whereas your student loans, you can really eliminate those and be done. So I guess I'm asking, why should I prioritize credit cards? Like, other than the interest rates that'll always be there, why should I prioritize it?
Yeah, well, when it comes to your student loans, there's so many options for repayment. Your interest rate is typically fixed. You have things like income-driven repayment, and student loans even come with loan forgiveness programs, which are one of my favorite things to talk about. With that being said, you don't really get any of those benefits when it comes to credit cards. The interest rates are variable, and they have been rising upwards of 20% these days with the Federal Reserve raising interest rates. You don't get any loan forgiveness programs. There's not really a way to defer your credit card debt. And so, yes, it does keep coming at you every single month if you're not making progress on eliminating it.
Makes sense. All right, so let's get into 2. Federal student loans have multiple repayment plan options. You kind of hinted at that. So what about like the the option? I know a lot of people who use that one.
Yeah, so you nailed it. There are a lot of ways to repay your student loans, especially your federal student loans. And income-driven repayment are the most popular plans. These are repayment plans that will set your monthly payment anywhere from 10 to 20% of your discretionary income. And President Biden is even proposing a new repayment plan that starting next year could lower that to 5% of your discretionary income. So the bottom line is that your student loan payments can be extremely affordable. And if you're not making a lot of money, that 5% to 20% could be $0 per month. So you're technically paying your student loans, but you're not actually having to make a monetary payment if you're not making a lot of money. So when you're looking at all your debt, again, student loans don't have to cost you as much each month as other forms of debt.
So would you consider that almost short-term thinking? While yes, I'm able to keep up with my loans every month, in the long run, am I messing myself up by doing the income-driven repayment option?
You know, that is the biggest fallacy that I see about these plans, because people get very stigmatized by the fact that my debt balance isn't going down or my debt balance could be rising. But the fact is, you have 2 concerns when it comes to your student loans. One is making that monthly payment every month. So when you have to lay everything out, your student loans could be the lowest payment. So put those to the side, make the payment you have to make, but you can defer paying them off aggressively until later. But part 2 is that all income-driven repayment plans include student loan forgiveness. And if you want to go for other student loan forgiveness programs like public service loan forgiveness, which is very popular, you also have to be on an income-driven repayment plan. So the bottom line is that income-driven repayment plans won't hurt you. They will only help you. They'll help you lower your monthly payment. And let's just say, your finances don't work out. At the end of 20, 25 years, which, let's be honest, is a very long time, but at that point in time, your loan balance is forgiven. So there's really no risk in using income-driven repayment plans for your student loans. It's really a question of what's the best path financially for you. And for a lot of Americans, lowering your monthly payment today, potentially qualifying for loan forgiveness, those are better options. And then tackling these other debts that we're talking about for this show.
So would you suggest even the high earners, should they use this income driven payment?
There really is an inflection point of where it makes sense. And so, a rule of thumb, and this is just very broad, but if your salary is less than your student loan balance, an income driven repayment plan is probably the right move for you. However, if your salary is more than your student loan balance and you don't qualify for programs like public service loan forgiveness, you might want to look at aggressively paying down your student loan debt. But it should also be the last debt you pay after things like credit cards or car loans.
Okay.